Now, for today's session, we have Rally for Project Managers, which is driving agile delivery at enterprise scale. Now, this is an interesting topic, and today we have an interesting speaker as well. He is co-founder and CTO at Albatroz Solution. He has 19 years of deep experience in project and portfolio management. Also, this section will help us explore how Rally, that is Broadcom, helps planning the PM plan, track and deliver across the agile teams at a scale. We'll see how Rally bridges traditionally PMO thinking and with modern agile practices, bringing visibility and predictability to complex programs. Now, I understand that we'll be waiting and we have already been 5 minutes, but let me introduce you to Mr. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kriti, can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So let me introduce you to Mr. Mathan Bagavathiappan, who's a co-founder and CTO of Albatroz Solution. Please, I would now hand it over to Mr. Mathan to start the session.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kriti. Thanks for that introduction, and it's really great to meet you all. And thanks for taking your time on Saturday and joining the session. Let me quickly start. Okay. So let me start with the. So the way I want to take the session is, I'll keep the slides to the minimum because tool session. So we are going to focus on Rally, right? Which is an agile tool ground up. Like it's purely built for enterprise agile, delivery, and we'll also see, what makes it unique, right? And I'll also give a background about about the tool itself, right, and where it's it kind of places in the whole ecosystem of agile tools. So yeah, good morning, everyone, and so let me a quick introduction about myself. So I have like 21 plus years of experience in the IT. So I started in 2004 with Infosys, and probably within a year or so, I got into the PPM world, right? So the project and portfolio management. Probably some of you in the call are aware of Clarity as a tool. I mean, it used to be called as 𝐏𝐽𝐭, and then it became Clarity, right? So Clarity is one of the leaders in the market for enterprise, strategic portfolio management, as well as project and portfolio management, right? So it was owned by CA Technologies, and then later Broadcom acquired it, and the last around 8 years, so it's been with Broadcom. Right. And so I started my career like 21 years ago in Infosys, and then I was into the Clarity implementation for Bank of America, right? So that's where my journey started with PPM, and it's been almost 2 decades, in the PPM domain for me, right? And largely been spent on, I've been in on-site like in US with Bank of America for 4 to 5 years, and then I just came back. I did a lot of travel to Europe, and also within the Southeast Asian countries, again implementing tools like Clarity and Rally through for various customers, right? So it was a very enriching experience because I got to work with the PMOs a lot. Because when someone is investing in an enterprise solution like Clarity or Rally, so they expect something than just project management tool or agile management tool. So they hope that can drive change, right? The right kind of change within the PMO, and how we can enhance the PMO team or the PMs in the organization. So I've learned a lot from various PMO teams across various banks and various telecom. Like I was associated with Ericsson for a long time, Standard Chartered. So this was all a great experience for me. In 2018, I came out of CA Technologies and started Albatroz Solutions. Right, so it's been 8 years of I think very fulfilling journey so far. We started with PPM as the focus, but now we have kind of diversified into automation and AI and other things over the course of these 8 years. But still, my personal journey is still, rooted in the PPM world, right? Uh, I know I've done my PMPs, like I said, but I think what uh, I am very proud of is like, the implementation experience that I've had, right? Meeting, like I said, various people across different regions and see how the PMOs operate in those regions. I also am a, safe agilist and, so why safe is relevant to this conversation is, you'll see that a rally is not just like is it a one-to-one comparison with Jira or other tools? So probably it has its own USP. It has its own positives and probably what it does well than the other tools. So we will see that, right? So this is going to be just initial introduction to the tool. I mean, I cannot possibly cover the breadth of the tool in the time that we have today. But what I'll try to do is give you a good introduction as such to the tool, right? So you know what it can do, and if required, if you want to know more about it, then I'm always available, right, to have your questions, or we can have maybe a further sessions, if people are interested in the tool. So jumping on to Rally. So what is Rally? Uh, Again, probably some of you are aware of it. Who maybe some of you have used it earlier in your projects or for your customer projects, etc. But one thing I'll be upfront is, Rally has not caught on really that heavily in our APAC region, right? So it's pretty heavily used in US. US probably dominates it, like probably 70 to 75% of the clientele are in US. And then, Europe is also has a fair amount of adoption for Rally, right? So Rally was an independent company, and they were pioneering a different kind of agile tool, right? So, I mean, there's no point in comparing different tools. So what Rally provided was a agile tool that can scale. I think the scale is the critical word here, right? So, basic agile management, like managing the scrums or maybe the user stories backlog, and then managing the teams is something that a lot of tools, there are so many tools in the market that does it, but Rally was built for a slightly different purpose for enterprises which were looking to scale their agile, right? Like not all enterprises at all sizes will be okay with a simple uh, scrum based agile implementation, right? So probably the safe model, like where you have teams of teams or art solution trains and portfolios. So this addresses that, right? um, so I think Jira Align kind of does something similar, I would say, from the portfolio management and other things. But with Rally, uh, it just comes out of the box. I mean, so the licensing and other things are fairly straightforward. So you buy the license, you get everything, right? So if you want to use it for managing your agile teams, or you want to manage your strategy and then tie it up together, so the whole suite of whatever I'm going to show you is available for all the licenses, right? So there is no add-ons, or you need to buy an additional package. So it's that's the way Broadcom does it, right? Uh, so Rally was an independent company. CA Technologies acquired it. and then later Broadcom acquired CA Technologies. So now Broadcom owns Rally, right? And it is part of their other value op solutions, right? Which has Clarity. See, Clarity you use for portfolio management, like is you strategize and you execute the financial planning, and all of that happens in Clarity. Rally is for execution, like where you have agile teams, then portfolio items, etc. And there is a these two tools talk together, out of the box, as in all the information from the execution side goes into Clarity, and then all the executive level dashboards, and to see, okay, this was my strategy, like say digitize all internal applications, right? It's a strategy that the CEO or the CTO wanted to do. And then that strategy is split into then, various initiatives, and then, you're going to features, epics, and all of that. And then, but what was missing is that visibility to the executive and all the layers, right? So, your product owners to then, solution architects, enterprise architects. So how do they get this visibility now, because the work is happening at the agile team level, they're doing their user stories and all of that. How do the executives know where it is, right? I had a strategy, where are we? So that's what this particular tool answers, right? So like I said, the enterprise scale is the keyword. So it does much more than a simple uh, agile execution. So uh, that's about Rally. So quickly to say, okay, like I said, this is some of the customers, a lot of Fortune 500 companies use it in US and Europe, and even I think a few customers in Australia and other regions. But yeah, at this point, I think Broadcom is keen on, taking the solution to the Asia market and see, how customers are um, reacting to it. So three key drivers: increasing visibility. Like I said, you have a strategy and the work is happening at the team level. So how do you tie this so that you always have the visibility of, okay, the right kind of work happening, right kind of prioritization is done, and we are not doing something that is should not be done, right? So that's what this creates. Creating alignment. So if any of you are familiar with OKR, you're already implemented OKR, etc. So this is also one of the new concepts which are catching on heavily in the West, right? Like the Europe and US. And okay, you will see this OKR term uh, uh, a lot. We also started hearing this OKR in the Indian segment as well. Like, when we go to these events like PMI events or other industry events. So, still not to the level of how the adoption has happened in the West, but you can see that slowly it's coming, because I think the OKR is objective driven, right, with key results. So it's a little more objective than subjective. So, organizations are trying to implement it, and Rally kind of naturally um, aligns with it. And optimizing efficiency will also show you how you do your capacity planning. I think one of the critical challenges is you have limited resources like teams, right? So how do you plan the capacity, right? So you cannot overcommit, you cannot undercommit. So tracking that velocity and keeping your planning honest is one of the bigger challenges, right? And uh, a simple tools or Excel doesn't always give the solution, right? And it also depends on the scale in which you're implementing. But okay, these are all what you will get at a enterprise scale, right? So with a solution like this, and yeah, these are some of the customer logos, but there are many in that region. So increasing visibility. So I think I'll just focus a little bit on this slide, because I think that these are the three pillars of a good agile implementation, right? So if you are planning to adopt agile, I think like they say in the traditional project management, I think the focus is on cost, schedule, and scope. So if these three things are in check, then the project is a success. In agile, I think it's also a different dimension where um, because it's not you're delivering to a scope. I mean, agility always means that how adaptable you are. It's a slightly different dimension there. But what is challenging for people who are involved, like product owners or scrum masters, is like, okay, uh, how am I going to have this bigger picture, right? So I think the what am I building basically, because if you start looking at user story level, probably doesn't make much sense. Okay, why am I doing this, right? So sometimes that needs to be addressed. So that's where this whole hierarchy of then, how do you assign it to the theme or strategy, and then how does a user story connect to it? And the who part, okay, how do you organize your agile teams, right? I'm sure, if you had implemented agile, I think it's also one of the bigger challenges in terms of keeping those teams together and then keeping the right mix of people in the team. So that's the basic thing. And then if you go at the scale, then you have release trains, arts, and then you have solution train. So the complexity can go really high, right? For some of the bigger teams. So I've seen some places where agile is implemented where there are say 2,500, 3,000 people involved, right, at various levels, all working towards a single strategy, right? It all comes beautifully together, during their release train planning and PI planning at different levels, and how everything is like aligned, and everybody is working towards a single goal. Then of course, when, right, the time box planning, that's iteration, release, and milestones. So we will see in the tool like how we address all of this, right? So I think I've already talked about it. You create alignment by tying your organization objective to your day-to-day work that we are doing, right? Um, and this is usually how the work breakdown happens, like at the team or the strategy objective level. It is the CXOs or executives and portfolio managers who are doing this. And then this initiative epic and feature is where the art planning happens, and which feature goes to which team. So product managers, the release train engineers, DevOps leaders, and all of them are together there trying to do this part, right? And then the user stories, and we have the scrum masters, product owners, ensuring that the actual work is happening, right? So all this is planning. This is the actual work that's happening, right? So uh, this is the framework basically. And for optimizing efficiency, so it actually comes with a lot of reporting and capacity planning features, and which again I'll try to show in the tool. Um, so again, and I think the data is everything these days, right? So we'll also see how that is happening. So I'll switch to the live demo. If any anyone wants um, or any comments or any suggestions. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that, okay, so just to set the context, so Rally probably is new for all of you. So I will take it. I mean, I'm not trying to go and cover every aspect of it. It has a lot of things. So because Rally, it'll become like a Rally training, and that we will need at least a week to cover those things. So, but what I'll try and do is, like I said, give you the flavor of the tool, what it is capable of, and then we will have discussions around it. And we can always see, if anyone wants to know more, you can always connect with me, etc., offline, and we can discuss that. And anytime you have any questions, you want to uh, provide your thoughts or comments, please feel free to interrupt. I don't have a problem with that, right? In fact, the more interactive it is, I think I'll also learn something, right? So with that, I'll just uh, start. Okay, so this is how Rally, when you log in, this is how it looks like, and you can see it just welcome message, and then there are a lot of one thing I think Rally does well is it is always ready to provide you help, right, in multiple ways. One is, you have all these videos, which are, by the way, I think before I go there, so it's a SaaS solution, but one of the important differentiators is it also has an on-premise version. I think especially now, I think Atlassian's push towards completely going SaaS. I think in probably it's already started happening in few years. I think they probably want to push everything to SaaS. Uh, Rally is also a SaaS solution. Predominantly a lot of users are on the SaaS, but for customers with data sensitivity, there is an on-premise version as well. So if the required infrastructure is provided, it can be installed and run on premise as well, right? Um, so once you get your subscription, you will have your subscription administrator who will do the along with the Rally team. So when you buy a subscription, it already comes with what they call as an agile experts, right? So they will help you with setting up. They'll understand your process and how your agile team operates, and then they will help with setting up the rally for you, right? So you will have videos, and then there is the AI-enabled chat. It's improving every release, right? So yearly they have 3 to 4 releases. So there are new things that are always coming up. So this has been there for a couple of years now. So they're constantly improving, and it's working great at this point. And also the document help, like, if you want to ask or understand something in the screen, you always can go to the look at the documents, right? So, and then it also shows you the recent pages that you have viewed and the recent items that have been working on, right? So that's your initial login on the Rally. And you will see that you can edit your profile and um, uh, display preferences. So display preferences is nothing but, yeah, I mean, this kind of impacts the whole application. You can either want it to be a little more roomy, you want to read larger texts, or comfortable is probably what I would suggest. It kind of gives the best of both. Compact is you want to see more information on the same screen. So it will just compact and it will show you more information, right? So you can set that as per your need, and you have help everywhere. So it kind of gives you context-based help, and there is a lot of things that from the help perspective. You can have videos, and there is a lot of documentation that communities, and they also have trainings, etc. And it's all at your fingertip, right? Whenever you need it. And then there is this AI assistant, which is now gotten really better, and it answers all your questions about whatever page you are in, and even about certain agile principles, how to do certain things, etc. And then settings, and this gives you the my work items. So this gives you a quick view of all the work items that you have recently been working on. So you don't have to navigate other. You can always go into your user stories or defects and features and what epics, whatever you are currently interested in, and then directly. So that's the overall navigation, right, of Agile. See, one of the big. So I'll start with, I think we talked about the 3 aspects, right? So one is what is being delivered, that's the work, and who's doing it, and that's how you organize your teams. And then, when, that's your timeline, right? So when it comes to the organizing your teams, so this is one of the biggest USPs of Rally, because it's built in a way there where roll-ups happen seamlessly, right? See, this is like, say, I'm a banking organization. So I have 2 value streams. That is, so when you say value streams, it's sometimes like at a strategy level, right? As a okay, well, what is the from the CXO level, what do they want to achieve? So we have probably these are the 2 major departments at this level. So business bank engagement and retail banking. So the main thing that we want to focus on is the digital banking application, right? So that's what the full focus from the CXO level is. They want a good digital banking application and a monetary transfer application. So this is what it is. So you kind of organize around it, right? So under that, then you form the agile release trains. This is teams of teams, right? Basically, you have under digital banking, you have the core and then platform. So these are the two arts, and then if you under it, you have the agile teams. So uh, what this helps in achieving is, see, if I select a core team, and then I go, let's say, I go to the team planning. These pages I'll talk about in a while, or let's say you can see the different things, right? So how you track your progress. Let's say you go to your team board, right? So the context always is set based on the team that you're selecting. So if I am a Scrum Master, so I want to know what this team is doing. So then I will go here and then I'll look at my board and board and say, okay, I have for this particular iteration release, I have these three things. But I can also change, like as if I'm a release train engineer, all I have to do is set the context here. So it kind of brings in the view for all the teams under the art. So, and this also applies for org level also, right? So if I want to know everything under the organization or under this particular value stream or department, so all this becomes possible. So this kind of sets the context for what information you're viewing on your screen, right? Uh, so this makes it super easy, because the roll up or the views automatically change. It makes it easy for people in various levels to get that information on their fingertip. There is no roll up report needed. Like I said, even the executive can go and sit at that level, at the org level, and they can see the information about all the teams and what is going on, right? So how you organize this is a critical step. Like once you start with Rally, of course there will be a discussion with the expert and an agile expert with, and then your agile team, etc., to understand what is the best structure. Right here it says value stream. It could as well be a department, right, or a location, or however it makes sense to define your team structure. But when it goes to like if you start splitting it down, then it makes more sense. Like you have multiple arts under each strategy or initiative that you're undergoing. So defining the structure is critical, and how you should do it is what level of roll-ups I will be interested in, right? So I want to see how digital banking application is progressing. So I will then create in all my agile teams, organize them under this, right? All the relevant ones who are working on the digital banking application. Of course, one art may not be enough. There will be multiple agile trains, right? So you organize everything under it, and then you organize your individual agile teams under it. So this organization capability will give you uh, clear visibility and alignment, right, when it comes to how you manage your teams. Right? So uh, this is one important part of how you organize your teams. Now, when it comes to then how you organize your work, right? So now, I know how the teams are structured, but how do I then organize my work elements? So that's where the portfolio items come in, right? So we start with the portfolio items where so there are in this case, so this is called configurable. It again, it can clearly work as per your organization needs. Here I have strategy, then epic, and then feature. You can have multiple levels if you have initiatives, teams, etc. You can create it whichever way it suits, right? But the important thing is, if I go to the strategy level, right? So these are the three strategic items. My digital banking, monetary transfers, and risk mitigation. Because my CXOs have told me these are the things that I need to deliver, right, in a year or two, whatever it is. But the focus should be on this. So then I think all my work has to be, see, you can see 21% and, these many stories have been complete. So this is the critical aspect here, right? And this is always live and it is always rolling up. So you can clearly see what are all the epics that are currently in progress. Okay, so credit scoring is completed, but these things have not started yet, right? So you can also have ranking at every level. So you want to rank all the epics and, then see, why is this epic, which is lower ranked complete, but this is why no work has been started here, right? So we can also delve under it to see what features have been created, etc. So this gives a visibility to the level of user stories, right? So you can even further go under every feature to then understand what are all the user stories and which team has worked on it. Okay, so this is a live view which gives you a full hierarchical roll up at any point, right? So at a strategy level or epic level or a feature level or a user story level. And of course, you can navigate to each of this and then, go and explore further, right? Like if I go into a feature, then I mean, you can have separate discussions and there are some specific charts which give you the score for that particular feature. It's credit scoring. And like I was talking about objectives and key results. So here you also see, I mean, the children basically it will give you all the user stories and features, and then under that, what are the user stories. So you have, if this is an epic, then you clearly have a view of, okay, these are the features and these are the user stories, who's working on it, which team is assigned. Uh, so the communication becomes easy. So you can start discussions, around this epic, and then have charts which are specific to that and risks and objectives. This gives an alignment for objectives, right? When you define an objective at the org level, okay, what is this credit scoring aligned to, right? So that kind of an OKR kind of an alignment, right? Launch modern website. So probably this is aligned to that objective of the organization. So um, so all this is possible with with that overall portfolio view, right, that we were seeing earlier. So, this is one of the, when it comes to visibility aspect, one of the key aspects here, right? So where you can see an end-to-end visibility from strategy to your user story. And once you have done, this kind of, you have created all the, features or epics and everything. And of course, you have your Kanban as well. I think a lot of organizations use use Kanban to manage their stories and everything. So here also, I think the roll up is a key thing. So you can do a feature level Kanban, or if you want to look at an epic level where each epics are. So this is again a massively useful feature, right? So depending on who you are, right, what kind of a role you are playing, you want to understand. Like probably if I'm an executive, I don't want to go at the feature level. Just show me, what you're doing, so I can then say, right now we are working on a loan calculator tool or a digital banking user, or if you want to go to a higher level, then we also see, okay, what level these strategies are in, right? Like these things are also quickly and easily configurable for each of I mean, if you have different portfolios, what are these entries, what is the maximum WIP value and what is the exit agreements, all these are configurable, right? And the system will show if you're breaching this WIP limit, then you will clearly indicate in red that, okay, this funnel limit is breached. So this is the Kanban board. You also have charts. Again, very powerful. The chart feature everywhere. You see, again, it is all in the context of the portfolio you are looking at. It will give you, I mean, this data is not very good. Probably I'll show you a different org or a demo data later, right? This is just, I mean, it's all same, but if you see it, the cumulative flow will tell you where your user stories or features, in this case, we have selected features, where it's spending most of the time, right? Like, is it mostly in analyzing, or actually a lot of work is now currently implementing, right? You ideally want, things to move to implementing and done, right? Should not be stuck in the funnel in the earlier stages. So this view kind of gives you the clear metrics about that. Flow view also your throughput and your work in progress and all that, and the cycle time, right? So these charts are available in your portfolio Kanban, which lets you manage again, either at the feature level or epic level or strategic level, right? So all of that levels are uh, possible, right? So another important thing is the timeline. I think this is something that a lot of customers really find it useful, because this gives a uh, full timeline view for each team that you are dealing with, and what is planned by month in terms of your features and epics. So this is like extremely useful tool when you are doing your roadmap planning, right? And very handy when you are going into a presentation with the executive level, right? So this kind of view really helps, like to say what are all the things that are planned, for each team and what they'll be focusing on. So if they think that something should not be focused on, or PayPal is not that important, you remove it, right? So that's the kind of conversation it triggers, right? So so that you are always again, lean project management comes in here. So you kind of cut down the wastes. Yeah, it was planned earlier. It was probably making sense earlier, but maybe it doesn't anymore, right? So when as an executive we're looking at it, just probably just deprioritize it or remove it completely. So these kind of timeline views, etc., gives you that feasibility to have these kind of conversations, right? So that is that. So this kind of gives you a high level idea of how you organize your work, right? So from strategy to a user story level. Uh, then we also have, so now what we have done is we have organized our teams, we have organized our work as well, like in the features and all of that. Uh, Now we also have to do the, you know, uh, iteration planning or the time boxes, right? So this is pretty straightforward. I mean, you kind of create your iterations, your sprint, and one of the recommendations, as any agile coach would tell you, is like keep the time boxes consistent, right? Because only then your roll up will happen. Like for example, you have multiple teams, like that's why the organizing the teams helps, because now I have a clear visibility of how my teams are organized, and I can enforce that the whole organization, at least the department or whatever, for me the roll up makes more sense. I would enforce that for under banking in a business bank, or maybe at the digital banking application level, follow the same time boxes, right? So when you're defining your time boxes for this particular digital banking core, so ensure that this the same sprint cycle and your release cycles are followed, right? So that when you want to then group things from multiple teams to see at a higher level, that grouping makes sense, right? So you can have a release view or how the current iteration is happening. That can be possible only if the shared time boxes are there at the organizational level or department level. And milestones, again, the milestones are nothing but, these are not truly time boxes, but more like a pointers, right, in time. So this national conference is so, and what is the target date? And we can associate the features that are needed to present in the in that conference, right? So these are the features. So I can track them because now I just associate the feature to the milestone. The tracking automatically happens, and I know what state it is in, and nothing has been scheduled yet. It's kind of worrying for me because my milestone is approaching, right? So this is gives a different dimension to it. This is not truly your PI planning or your release planning or your iteration planning, but this is certain things that you want to keep in mind, like a event, right? This is more event for tracking your events. That I have a conference coming up, so these features I need to show, irrespective of which release or which iteration you have configured these features. End of the day, I want it to be done for this, when, for this milestone, which happens in a particular date. So it helps that kind of tracking, right? Like some of these milestones that you want to track. So this is how you organize your time boxes, right? So now you have done your release planning, meaning you know when the releases are happening, and you have done your iteration planning. You have also seen we have organized our team, we have organized our work. Now it's time to bring everything together, right? So that's where then you go to the release planning, right? So first things first is like you prioritize your feature, and then you have your Q2, Q3, Q4, right? Probably 3-month window, right, for a PI. So then you start, and these are all the backlogs which have not been prioritized, but then you start putting your uh, features, and it'll automatically, these are all roll up, right? The system understands, because we saw the whole hierarchy of how the work is organized. So if you pull a feature, it will now clearly tell you all the user stories and how many points have been planned and all of that. So this is where you plan as per your release, what is Q1, Q2, etc. And this is also where everybody is involved, at the portfolio managers, and in some cases even the executives are there to understand, okay, for Q3, what are the features that we are going to prioritize, right? So this is high level release planning, right? So this is my wish list. Okay, this is what I mean. This shows like the velocity based on the velocity, how much of the planned, so I still have more. 27% is what I plan. So I can actually pull more features. Very, very powerful again, this, right? So this one, it's all rolled up, because you can see everything is hierarchy here. So roll up seamlessly happens, right? So if you plan multiple user stories and then you put a estimate on it, like the point estimate, so that will roll up to from the feature, it will roll up to the release, and it will show you, and you know which teams are involved in this, right? So you're planning for a particular team, and those teams will have their own velocity and capacity. So based on that, the system says for 3 months, this is your capacity, and you have planned this much. So it keeps your planning honest all the time, right? So you can pull more, or you have to remove more, whatever. So you're not setting unrealistic targets for your team, right? So uh, this is how you plan a high level we plan your releases. And going a little deeper, the capacity planning again, uh, a hugely useful tool, right? Let me quickly move to a different tool where we have better data. So, uh, so this is another gaming company thing. So I have better data here. So I'll quickly show, like, say, this is the gaming experience, and Rapid Pioneer. So this is my art, right? And I have many teams under this. This is a much more larger agile team, right, that I'm working on. So let's say I choose this, and showing you the portfolio page here, right? So in terms of capacity planning. So let me take at a higher level. Let's say this is the latest planned this thing. So here, yeah. So capacity planning, again, very powerful, and a lot of customers rely heavily on this, right? So what it does is, like, so far, we saw that, we've done our release planning, we have prioritized some features, and we have also put it under these releases, right? So uh, here I'm trying to see that for this Q1, P1, do I have the capacity? It's very good that I've now put all the features and everything, but what about my teams, right? Do they have the capacity? And that's what we do here in capacity planning. So you can see some of these things like roll up. Roll up is nothing but for the team, for the planned features, you would have already planned your user stories. The user stories will have their own points, and that will get rolled up here. Estimate is basically, while planning your feature itself, you would have given an approximate estimate. So this is the approximate estimate. So when you have a roll up value, this takes precedence because this is more accurate. And capacity is something for every team, you kind of enter the capacity. right? And how do you enter the capacity? I'll show you. There are like some seriously useful tools there, right? How to get a proper capacity planning, right? You can't just put a arbitrary number here and you not put a higher number or lower. The more closer to reality it is, the better these planning will be for you. Otherwise, you will always end up over planning or under planning, and end of the day, your delivery will be a problem, right? So here visibility of, okay, this is probably an ongoing release, so the summer was already complete, then roll up exceeds estimate. So it clearly says for this team, I think you have planned too many features. So in that case, I can assign some of these user stories to other team, but you can see this view, right? Wherever it shows this, there is an exceeding capacity. So this helps me plan for each of my team and what features they are supposed to do for this particular PI. And once you plan it, then it also gives the details of each of these feature and which team has been allocated to that, right? And how they are doing. This helps in tracking. Once you plan it, it's a live tracking, so it gives you honest feedback. I mean, every time you come here, you kind of understand where this feature is, who's working on it, what's planned, and what's complete. And so this goes back to the alignment that I was talking about. So these features, what you have planned, it clearly shows, okay, is it how it is aligning to, is it DevOps innovation? So as an executive, maybe I'll be more interested in what the team is working on, right? So this gives that idea of, okay, this is how it's all grouped. And progress tracking, it again shows the uh, progress of all these planned items, how it's going. So how much has started, not started, etc. So this capacity planning page, again, it's super useful if you want to keep your commitment honest to your uh, to your strategic stakeholders, right? To say, okay, I'll deliver this, but yeah, then you can do it with confidence. So one of the key aspects of it is, when we were seeing this, all this will work only if this capacity. I mean, this estimate is all okay. Like I said, roll up. This is usually okay. The accuracy of this doesn't usually suffer because usually teams get good at it, planning their, estimating their user stories, estimating their, then rolling up. So system already rolls up. So the features estimate all is close to honest. But capacity is where if you you think your capacity is higher or lower, that's when the problem happens. So how to say team best? How do I know what the capacity should be, right? And that's where if you go to the team level tracking, so there is a team board. Let's say we are talking about team best. So here it is the board and the charts. So you have this capacity forecast feature, right? It's super extensive. So it takes the last 52 weeks. I mean, it gets better the more data it collects. So when you start using it for the initial few weeks, maybe this is you also don't know what the capacity or the velocity, because we have not executed. We are only started with the first sprint, the second sprint, third sprint. The more data we accumulate, so you can see, and then I'm asking it to forecast, okay, for a iteration, for a 14-day period, what is my velocity and throughput? This is number of user stories and the points. So with a 90% confidence, I can say I can deliver 28. So let's say, we increase this to 90 days, right? Maybe I want it for a PI. So it says for this team, team based, with 90% based on the past 52 weeks of data, right? And if I think some of this 140 and 47, this is an outlier, I can tell the system, don't use this week data. This is an outlier. Then you will give me a wrong prediction, right? So that I can do. Then I can update and it will give me a more Now it's reduced because I think this one was an outlier. Maybe I wouldn't have suddenly done 140. Something happened there, right? In terms of that particular week. So it says with 90% confidence, my team can deliver 92 user stories in 3 months in a PI and 260. So this aligns with I think I put 250 as the capacity there in my capacity planning. So it's fairly a good estimate. It's a low risk estimate because with all the data that I have, it's not an arbitrary number, and it's not something based on the last sprint or what I did in last two sprints. It's a fairly extensive study for the last 51 weeks, right? So it's something that I can, let's say if I want to take a little bit more risk, I would go with 290. But if I go beyond it, then the confidence score drops drastically. Then if I commit for 330 user stories or points, then that estimate will be little bit risky for me, right? So uh, this is again, uh, a super useful feature, right, and heavily used as well, right, to keep all our AI planning and iteration planning in check. Uh, so now that yeah, I think it's probably 3 minutes. I'll quickly, I think, talk about a few things in the flow. I think one of the thing could be your in the team planning. So because so far we have been planning at a higher level, feature level, and then for each iteration, everything. But what about the uh, actual team planning? I'm a Scrum Master. I need to do the planning. So that's when you come to team planning, and I'm in team test. I'm a Scrum Master. So then I have the backlog view, which is now filtered down based on the features that has been assigned or planned earlier at the PI level. Now those features and the user stories I have created. This is for my team, right? And I have done the prioritization of the backlog. So now I can go to the team planning. So this is for the upcoming PI. So it gives all the upcoming iterations. That's a sprint. Then I can drag and drop. Right. So it all see that this is again like capacity. I can, because I just did the capacity analysis. It's around 27 or 28. So I can key in that capacity, and then I see 34. Probably it's a little bit higher. I don't know if I'll be able. So maybe I'll put some of the things drag and drop into the next upcoming sprint. So it'll give the full sprint visibility for your upcoming PI, right? The other aspects of how you manage individual user stories and other things, I'll not go much, but one see tasks, and then if you have other, I mean, your other user stories that are associated to it, and all that. The rest of it, I think you are aware of it. One thing additional is the test. It also has the quality management inbuilt. You can have a test suite, you can have test results and defects and all of that tracked for each user story, and then it'll all roll up into the feature level. And the roll up happens for whatever level, right, you want to see at epic level and all of that. So it has a separate quality management as well, right? So you can have defect suits, defect quality management, and you can possibly integrate it with your QLM, if you want to manage it like that. Um, yeah, and then two other things very quickly. I think reports. So I don't have to explain all these reports. Right? These are all out of the box, and for every team or every art or every department, the context will switch. If you set it at the art level and go to your iteration burn down for your whole art, other team of teams, it will show how it is happening. So if you select a particular team, then for that team, it will show how your iteration burn down is, right? So there are many reports. You can also create your own reports with a no code, like a custom view, etc. So that's reporting is pretty robust, right? So I don't think you will need any additional reports. Insights, we'll probably end with this. I think we are out of time. Insights is something that actually what Rally provides, not only looking at your organization data, but similar organizations across the globe. I mean, of course, it doesn't give the data of which organizations comparing, but it is telling you like overall your organization where it stands. So from your productivity percentile, you're good, 99th percentile. Predictability is pretty bad. Probably it's because uh, your velocity and throughput has been pretty up and down, right? So this needs to be looked at. Why is my predictability, responsiveness is high? quality, probably no data, right? Overall. So this kind of insights is a thing where it combines all the knowledge across the other whoever, I mean, across the usage, with customers across the globe, and it tells you where your organization stands on all these aspects. It's important for admins or um, your architects to understand and then fix. So it's a high level view on this one, right? Uh, Let me stop here. I think we are just about on time, and yeah, I'll open it up for questions or discussions.
Thanks, Mathan. This is really a great session on how do we use Rally to scale at enterprise level. You have given beautifully, how to organize the work, right from value streams to agile release streams, and then to the sprint teams, how we can organize the work, and also different aspects of the PA planning, release planning, and capacity planning, with the reports that quickly show the project status with the various stakeholders at a different level. This is really great. We have few queries, from the team. So we have a query from Samarth. So Samarth wants to know, when we implement this for a client, what other features that the business asks which is not available in Rally?
So usually, see I think I've shown you some of the important aspects of Rally, right? In terms of what it can do. So it's pretty extensive, right? And again, one of the good things or bad things, whichever way you look at it, the licensing works as a single license. So you get 100 licenses, all of them will be able to, I mean, your organization can fully use all of the features, that everything that is included in this, what I've shown now is all included. So to answer your question, as in if some customers feel that something is missing, the majority of that, it kind of comes into two things. One is they expect certain integrations to happen. Probably, let's say, your DevOps tools, so that you have your continuous, continuous delivery tools that are, can I integrate to see the status of where the actual code is getting built and delivered. That is one example, right? And QLM integration, and also some of the reports, right? They want a very specific kind of reports, which it already has extensive set of all these charts that people normally use, but sometimes it is also requested that some of the additional reports are needed, and that's where I think the custom reports came in. It's a fairly new feature, so it gives the admins to build some of these reports, which are again no code, right? Basically, so a little bit of query the knowledge and very simple query knowledge is enough to build most of the views that you don't see out of the box, right? So, but in terms of the functionality or the feature to what it does, it's probably fairly extensive, I would say, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So we have one more question from Satvik. In the interest of time, I think we'll take this as the last question. So does Rally have an official MCP or something similar that can help with using with other AI agents like Claude, Code, or Codex, and make sure the work done and tasks created in Rally are connected? And in similar manner, bring in product roadmap into Rally.
Yeah. It's an excellent question. So the MCP, now I can see that all applications are bringing in. I think Rally, it will, so Clarity and Rally, like I said, it's part of the value ops. So Clarity, the MCPs and all these things are already, they've started with the way they are rolling out it is based on the functionality. Like say for timesheets, they've started with, now they're adding staff-based MCP tools into the whole this thing, and the similar for Rally as well. So the idea is to make it work with. So what Broadcom is trying to bring in is not it's the bring your own AI concept, right? So it currently works with Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, and Copilot. These are the AIs which are enabled, or the integrations are already enabled. So you just give the APIs and other credentials for these AI, and then it uses those AI models to then do the generative part, etc. And but the agentic part, which needs an MCP, that will also be coming, right? That rollout is already happening, like I said.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Mathan. In the interest of the time, we will, any further questions that we'll take offline, and please feel free to connect with Mathan. We'll share his ID, LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you, Mathan, for sharing your experience and on the Rally tool. As a token of appreciation, PMIPCC Hyderabad chapter has honored you with a thickest of 5 trees planted in your name for red pandas at Sikkim. Thanks again for growing knowledge and taking the time to share your experience and expertise with the PMI community. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I request you to stay on the call. We have a member talk. Post that, we will have a digital selfie with the team.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I would like to hand over session to Shanti to introduce the speaker for the member talk.
Thank you very much, Arvind. And thank you, Mathan. It was an interesting session, though I think most of us have used Atlassian for so long, but it's refreshing to see some features available in Rally. Hopefully, we will have that too. So let's move on to our next section for today. For anyone attending Member Talk for the first time, it's a virtual platform where PMIPCC members can share experiences, stories, learnings, inspire the community with their expertise, and connect and engage with the fellow professionals. For today, our Member Talk speaker is 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐻, a seasoned principal manager at Microsoft, leading AI-led and Azure-driven transformations. 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐻 has directed enterprise-scale agile transformation across modernization digital initiatives, enabling product-centric operating models that improve time to market and customer alignment. I would now request 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐻 to please take over and walk us through your topic for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanti. Thanks a lot. And good morning, everyone, once again. And I must say, what a wonderful session by Mathan. So many good insights and utilities shared by Mathan. My topic is also not going to be very different. It's Agile series. I can say that it is going to augment conceptually what Mathan just talked about. But the agenda which I have drafted is based on my experience with various organizations, customers, and companies. So we talk a lot about Agile. It has been wonderfully working for us, but I have seen some problems with it while it is not being implemented properly. What is the gap we will talking about? Why after defining the problem, then we will close the gap. We'll talk about the value it is bringing and the shift from a previous Agile PM to the new value delivery project manager. Of course, these days we can't get away without talking AI. It is hot everywhere, even more than that. So we'll touch base on that, followed by question and answer. And mine is going to be very short. So just bear with me for 8 to 10 minutes. And once again, thanks for joining. So let's start. So what is the problem? We talk about Agile. So it has been working wonderfully for us when it comes to tighter feedback loops, iterations, smaller batches, wonderful. But for many organizations, it stops at the boundary of the team, which means some of the things Mathan talked about, that the value which is being delivered, which is supposed to deliver, is not reaching to the customer. So the point is the symptom, most common symptom becomes the motion without outcome, which means there's output, but there's no outcome. So that is going to be the topic of discussion for us in next 8 to 10 minutes. So let's talk about the first part of the problem. the cracks in the Agile alone. When Agile is alone there, what are the problems? The first is the feature factory, which means it is producing a lot of features. Burn down may look great, velocity is great, but ultimately, is it able to move the customer needle? Second part is doing versus being Agile. That means that we have wonderful ceremonies, all the ceremonies of Scrum and Agile, but are those ceremonies just taken as a ritual, or is it the tool being used effectively? The point is the learning and adaptability which is coming through Agile is being landed with the customer, or it is just passing through the back door. Next is the local optimization, which means that there are various teams, team A, team B, team C, as Mathan was talking about, but are those teams working together to produce the result which it is supposed to produce? So that's the problem number one. Now let's talk about what Agile is missing. So there are two parts, everyone. First is the missing DevOps. Agile is doing wonderful in terms of iteration, but big releases, infrequent batches, manual deployment, no automation, or very little automation. Another problem, delivery versus operations, the wall of confusion. Little CI/CD, continuous integration or continuous delivery deployment, or very little CI/CD. Very slow feedback, fast development, slow delivery. Ultimately, work is getting piled up. That is part of one. Second half is the product mindset. We have a backlog, wonderful backlog, full of requirements. There is a lot of scope, but is customer problem being backed? Poor link, what is being shipped in terms of features, story points, and stories, but outcome is not there. Output may be there. No proper feedback loop from the end users. Success defined as scope is being delivered, but not the actual problem being solved. So in a nutshell, without DevOps, we cannot deliver continuously, and without a product mindset, we cannot ensure that we are delivering the right value. We might be doing the thing right. Let's move ahead. Part number two. So this is what I was talking about, my experience with various teams, various customers, and various organizations. They can say we have all the three disciplines. We have a wonderful product management team. We have a good roadmap, wonderful backlog. But the question becomes, did customers actually use what we are building? Which business KPI is being improved? Also, companies can say that we have a wonderful Agile team. We have been producing so many stories, story points. Our velocity is improving 10%, 20% sprint on sprint basis. But the question becomes, is that being adopted by customer? Once again, the question. DevOps team can say we have wonderful practices, safe deployment, single click, CI/CD. We have a lot of pipelines, but the question becomes, how many incidents automation is preventing, or is just a tool heavy automation? Automation everywhere, but it is not helping. We have deployment frequency, very good, but what is the lead time when the actual feature is really going to customer? So in a nutshell, three discipline, but working in silo behind the wall. Ultimately, three engines without proper steering wheel. So what is the solution? And which is our main theme? Continuous value delivery is the solution. The three unified system working together, not in silos, not three programs, three lenses on the value stream. Let's look at that product. You know what? We are building the right thing. Agile, iteration, adaptation, and finally, learning adaptability quickly. DevOps, how we deliver and operate, not as two teams like development and operations. Automation, flow, live telemetry, delivering and operating safely. Ultimately, it becomes a continuous cycle, which was discussed in the previous cycle also, previous session. So it becomes a continuous cycle from build to release to learn to improve. Feedback flows all the way around, and this is how we achieve the customer value realized. Customer outcome is realized. It's not just an output now. Once again, the summary is all the teams, starting from business to engineering to product to DevOps, they have the shared accountability. They are not working in silos. So this is how we are closing the loop. All the teams working together, shared accountability, and this is how we achieve the continuous customer value delivered. May sound theory, but this is my experience. We may talk about nowadays AI is there. We are working Agile for many years, but the fundamentals are missing. So that's why I thought to discuss this with you. This is how the gap over all of these three disciplines is being closed when they work together, not apart. Okay, so now we have defined the closed loop. Let's see the values. So first is Agile. It's an execution engine. Its role becomes driving the work which is getting executed. Measurable customer business quality and learning outcomes, not just the completed stories. Next is the product management part, where the role becomes from delivering scope to creating the value. Prioritizing investment based on customer and business impact, not just the roadmap completion. Then the machinery, DevOps, delivery backbone. Ideas are reaching to the customer fast. Its roles become ensuring speed, quality, and reliability. There is a feedback loop available, and this is how all three integrated into one continuous system of value delivery. So that is the value we are receiving. Key ingredients, I will not spend much time over here, just different attributes of value delivery model. Rather, I will move to the next slide, which is how the shift is happening, how the project manager role is evolving. So in traditional agile project management discipline, the manager is just taking care of planning, tracking, reporting the scope, and reporting it to leadership, to management, or to the customer. Now, in the value delivery model, project manager roles becomes to take care of agile, the execution, DevOps, the pipeline, everything we talked about, product, and of course, these days I was talking about, we cannot ignore the proper usage of AI, the telemetry and insights, the metrics. So this is the shift. And in the shift, the project manager has to shift his focus from telemetry of metrics, which was being measured earlier, which were necessary, of course, but not sufficient. Still, these are important. Velocity, burn down, deployment frequency. It is moving to customer value metrics. That is talking about customer satisfaction, is talking about time to value, it talks about feature adoption. We have to take care of that. Reliability and availability from DevOps. It is not just that pipeline is there, but that value from the DevOps is coming. So this is how the role changes from a task manager to finally a value orchestrator. So that's the shift. Why this is becoming dominant these days? There is a speed pressure. All of us must agree. Faster releases need, so we need DevOps automation. Customer centricity. We talk about a lot about customer obsession, customer first approach. So for that, we need to have a solid product management, need product mindset. There's a complexity increasing. We talk about microservices, cloud, Kubernetes, a lot of things. And nowadays, this AI thing is there that is further adding to the complexity. So we need observability and feedback. Observability, I'll take a few seconds, is not just about what is wrong. It talks about why something is wrong. For example, some database query is failing. So it goes into that much of detail and there's a feedback available. So when observability and feedback, they work together, it becomes a solid pipeline of continuous improvement as well as improving the system reliability. When they work together with CI/CD, this becomes a wonderful system. So now let's talk about AI. Where does it fit into the these three disciplines, which is our last slide. So we talked about Agile, product mindset, DevOps pipeline, the three solid discipline. They need to work together. So where does AI fit into? Is it the fourth pillar? To my understanding, it is not the fourth pillar. It is the connecting layer. Unless we have a solid foundation of agile product mindset, DevOps pipeline, AI is not going to help us. How it is helping? Let's take some example. It helps us in terms of insights and recommendations, better insights and better recommendations. I must say the telemetry which we're talking about. For example, from agile area, it can give the insight that velocity has dropped by 10% because of certain reason. In product management area, it can give insight that features consume 20% of efforts, a particular feature, but it is being used only by 5% of the customers. So a point to think about. It can give recommendations like pull request reviews account for 45% of the total lead time. So we can work upon that. So in a nutshell, AI is a wonderful tool, but unless we have a solid foundation of agile product mindset, DevOps pipeline, and we are executing them properly, it is not going to help us. Last but not least, very important, we have to have solid guardrails defined when it comes to AI, human at the decision points. We have to be everywhere. So our role is not going to be diluted. It is changing. AI is strengthening us, but actually we have to be careful that all the fundamentals principle of project management should be there. So that was it. And thank you very much for your time. And now I open it for question and answer if there is anything.
Thank you so much, 𝐾𝐫𝐲. It was really nice. Arvind, Kriti, do we have a time for just one question? I see one in the chat here.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So there's a question by Shiva. It says, do we know why DevOps is not succeeding as expected? What's missing in DevOps implementation?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, as we talk about, it is existing, but is it actual DevOps or is it fake DevOps? Kind of. We may have pipelines defined over there, but are those pipelines configured in a way that it is helping in CI/CD manners? Is telemetry there? We just talked about it must be measuring the deployment frequency, but the lead time, is it helping into that? Ultimately, it can't be a separate discipline. It has to work together, delivery as well as operations. Both it has to take care. We talked about the shared responsibility. What I have experienced, Shiva, that DevOps is a separate team. They will focus a lot on the operations. First thing, don't have the best practices, engineering practices, like safe deployment is missing, automation is missing at places, CI/CD is not proper, single CI/CD is not there. Second problem, these practices could be there, but then it is not working together with agile and product mindset. They are not bothering about, is the value reaching to the customer? Are we synthesizing with the other teams like the agile team and the product management team? I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, 𝐾𝐫𝐲. I think we're good for now. Arvind, Kriti, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. Thanks for that informative session. So as we reach to the concluding of this session, today's session, a quick reminder, your videos will be automatically credited in 2 weeks if you have provided correct PMI member ID. If the videos are not credited within 2 weeks, please write to events@pmipcc.org. A few announcements. We have an annual summit coming up 24th and 25th July. This is a Gyan Lahari on knowledge waves of PMIPCC, where we have a very esteemed panel of speakers who will be talking on various topics. We request everyone to register and use the session to connect and also with the industry experts. So we would like to hear from you. Please scan this code and request to share your thoughts on the session. How, is there anything that we can improve or any specific areas you would like to hear from us? Or if you have any, the speakers you would like to recommend, please scan and share with us. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for everyone. So we are also sharing the link to that feedback. Please use the feedback link from the chat window. Thank you. It's a great session from our speakers today on the rally and also on the agile and how the the dynamics are changing from metrics to more customer orientation. So with this, we will wrap up today's session. Before that, let's have one digital selfie. Request everyone, please come on to the switch on your cameras. We'll take one digital selfie. great. We still see so many empty, so many cameras still not switched on. Please switch on your cameras. Viti, when you're ready, please please take a selfie, please.
Sure. I'm just waiting for a few more people. Okay, I'll take the first selfie. You can say cheese, paneer, chicken, whatever is your favorite word that brings out a big smile for you. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Smile, please. Okay. I'll just go for one more round. Any other favorite word that you would like to add? Okay. I see there are a few more people joining in. Okay. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. I've taken a couple of selfies.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time and enjoy the rest of your day and happy weekend, all of you.
Thank you.